We are.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the Moines County Board of Supervisors meeting, August 26, 2025. Is there any changes to the agenda?
I have one.
I have none. Big department heads, elected officials. Colin, the IT department.
Good morning. Just keep busy like always. Had some stuff going on last week with the ISAC conference, but other than that, nothing to report.
Okay, thank you. Sheriff Glendenny.
Good morning. Had a couple events over the weekend. Rotary Toucher Truck, well attended in the Minneapolis Town and Country Days, also well attended, great events, all went well. And then this morning our jail is at 69 adults. We had 3 out of county as of yesterday, but we're bringing 2 back, so we'll be back down to 1 out of county. So that's holding pretty well out there.
Well, that's really been good this last 3 or 4 weeks.
It has. We have a couple on the wait list too now, 4 or 5 for the residential facility. We'll be taking a couple to prison this week also, so should make some room, and we'll see how it all goes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Rodney, how's the maintenance department?
Good morning. Doing pretty well. Everything going good for the most part. So just keeping really busy. We got boiler inspector coming Thursday. Check things out here to get ready for winter. So other than that, just keep busy.
Do you have to take all the plates off those and everything, get ready for them?
Yep, every year.
And here's 54 degrees out. You're gonna be needing heat. You got that boiler tore down.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah, we can get it back together pretty quick.
There you go. Okay, thank you. Jared Laster, Regional Plan.
Morning. Land use, just keeping busy as usual. We got several minor subdivisions working through the pipeline. Probably have one ready for the agenda next week, but nothing really noteworthy other than that.
Chris, Lisa's here. You got anything to report?
No, I'm just here to talk about the sale of,
Okay. Chris Lee, Conservation.
Good morning. Nothing super exciting. Talk about today, Labor Day weekend coming up, so we're gonna be busy in the parks. The Big Hollow, I think, is maybe 1 or 2 sites short of being full, but I know we have some turning over towards the end of the week, so if you're fast, you might be able to get a site there. Otherwise, if you don't already have a reservation or you're not already in your site, not getting one there. We do still have plenty of availability north and south, Fourth Plumbing Station down at Welter. If somebody wants to camp there, it looks like it's going to be a gorgeous weekend for camping, so great time to do that. Opportunity to get out before we get back into the swing of school and all that fun stuff.
Okay, thanks, Chris. Janelle, how's the treasurer's office?
Good morning. We are keeping busy. Property tax payments are starting to roll in, so nothing new to report though.
Okay, thank you. Natalie, how's the recorder's office?
Good morning. Everything's good in the recorder's office. Just a reminder that the U.S. Department of State put out just alert as far as renewing and getting passports that do not use a third-party vendor. The only place where you can get a passport is through the U.S. Department of State, and then at a passport agent, such as a recorder's office or typically a post office. So be careful who you're giving your payment information to. But otherwise, just business as usual in the recorder's office.
Okay, thank you. Lisa, how's the attorney's office?
We're always busy taking resumes for the administrative assistant position. I do want to piggyback on Kevin's recent lower jail numbers. There's actually a little bit of a reason for that. It's not less crime, but one of the things that our orders have always done when we're asking for halfway house is they were always ordered to do specifically the 8th Judicial District halfway house, which meant either Ottumwa or here. Now, because there are such long wait lists in the 8th Judicial District, the Department of Correctional Services has asked for very blanket orders that they just have to do a residential facility. So it's allowing us to send people to bigger facilities that have more bed space, so they're not sitting in the jail for 4 to 8 weeks waiting for space to open here they can go to Des Moines or Waterloo or Davenport or one of the other facilities that just moves people through quicker. So that's certainly going to help ease some of the stress on our jail for people who are just waiting there to get into a halfway house. They've made it much, much easier for the department to place people statewide rather than keeping them specifically here.
Since you're in a halfway house, we don't have to pay for them.
But they actually pay their own fees. When they're in the halfway house, they actually pay to be in the halfway house.
That's part of the Department of Corrections.
But that's all, yeah, the state stuff.
Thank you. Angie, how's the safety department?
Good morning, we're actually doing well, so I don't really have anything to report, but
That's
things are
always
going
good.
That's good.
Yep, that is good. Shannon, how's the emergency management?
I don't want to jinx it, but same with my neck of the woods. The weather's been beautiful and been able to get caught up on some things that got put on the back burner. But I don't really have anything exciting happening.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Carter, how's secondary roads?
Good, plenty of stuff going on. We do have some patching still going on. I want to say they're probably over on Golf Course Road at the moment. We had somebody call about that, so we set up some signage and like a please alternate. There's a stop sign, and you're supposed to come up and it just lets traffic flow through as best as they can. If we have a bigger area, we'll put up lights if we're concerned about sight distance. But I would remind people, you are actually supposed to stop. That's how it works.
Oh, that's what that means?
Yeah. So had somebody complain this morning that they couldn't see. Well, if you pull up and stop, you can see, but yeah, it was harder to see just to blow through. So anyway, the guys are making good headway on that. Appreciate their work. It certainly saved us money on the smaller ones if they can do them, and that's what we're doing. So moving along on that, and I want to mention a couple things. One, we do have a position out for advertisement for a motor grader position. That'll be for out at the Danville facility. We have a gentleman that's committed to retiring. He's going to retire officially at the end of the year, but he'll be gone before that because of time off that he has available. So we're going to overlap and get somebody in and at least get them some time in their district and time in a machine before you're into the snow flying. So so that's, if somebody says something to you, tell them to call our office with questions. Otherwise, we are advertising in the newspapers and we'll see what we have for options. So so that's out there. And then I want to mention the DOT. I sent out some road closure, we sent some new road closure notices out. So so when the DOT goes and closes side roads or whatever for their project, they don't do any sort of a press release. So if we know far enough in advance, we will actually kind of send letters, if we can, to local residents that are going to be mostly impacted. We didn't know that far in advance on the closures they have, so we did do press releases. We do that just to try to help, well, just not just local emergency response, but anybody that pays attention to those know. And so they opened Mediapolis Road, which I think a fair number of people were happy about last Friday. At the same time, they closed 235th, which is what people call the school loop. So if you go north of Mediapolis on 61, there's a paved road that brings you back and around to the school, and that's closed now. I have been in touch with the DOT, asking them to consider opening either that back up or 260th up, and they got back to me and said, well, the contractor wants to keep 260th closed to the winter time, up to winter, I should say. So I've had talks with them because that creates a pretty good hardship for farmers trying to get equipment down to the bottoms or from the bottoms up to the Yarmouth area. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to, we're going to be able to figure anything out, but that is in conversation. I will, however, we've had I've had a fair number of communications about that exact topic. It is a DOT issue, so anybody that wants to is also more than welcome to call them. But I've assured him we're trying to figure it out. I don't know if the DOT will do something different or not, but so sorting that out, I guess, and I just wanna mention to you guys, cause I wouldn't be surprised if it comes up as more and more people find out about it. Not particularly convenient to run through Mediapolis with large equipment. So, other than that, there's a whole lot of stuff going on just on our maintenance crew. We have fired back up to start working on a concrete job for this winter bid for Pleasant Grove Road. I'm at this point comfortable enough financially, I think we can handle that. So we're back to working that into our design along with other things. I wanted to mention, previously we had talked about the little short stub road that was part of the development grant that the developer was looking at on the edge of Burlington. If you guys hear anything about that, plus or minus as far as going or not going, please let me know so that we just sat that on the shelf at the moment. And we need to jump back on that if that becomes a go and the board says we've got it all worked out and everything else. So I don't need it worked out to start working on it again. But if I know that we're progressing that way, I would like to get it back in front of our designers and start working again on that. So I just want to mention that if you guys hear anything at all, either kill it or not, let me know, please. So
I don't think we haven't heard anything.
I know there's a time frame coming up when he said he would hear about the grant. I thought he had told me August. I'm obviously wrong about that. It must be September, October. I don't remember. And it's not a big deal to me. I just if you hear anything at all, give me a heads up, would you? Other than that, like I said, plenty of stuff going on. We have a little bit of right-of-way to buy as part of that Pleasant Grove project, a couple of the culverts that we need to put in. So I've already met with all the farmers up there, so I'll give them a call and get back with them and get a little bit of paperwork signed. So you may see some of that coming along, but otherwise, that's the plans.
Okay, thanks, Brian.
Yep.
Don't think I missed anybody.
You saved the best for last, actually.
You're used to Cheryl being back there, right?
She hasn't been here for 2 weeks.
So coming back from vacation today, I'll give that to you. We will be having a primary election. So the 28th is the final day for nomination papers for that. Today is the first day for absentee ballot request forms to be filled out for the November city school. And then yesterday was the first day for filing for the November city school, and then that closes the 18th. So just trucking along with that and getting things ready as we get back in the groove of things. So.
I didn't miss anybody on that.
No.
Okay. Well, that threw me for a loop. Correspondence, I see none here and I have no correspondence.
I have none.
Yeah. Thank you. We shall move on to discussion vote. Annual liquor license for the Yarmouth filling station. We haven't got the insurance papers on this. We're supposed to get them this afternoon, so this is the last day. So, you okay with the sheriff if they get their insurance?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this here, if we approve this, it'll have to be approved when we get the insurance papers this afternoon.
Subject to acceptance of their insurance papers. So moved.
Second. Sarah?
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. Okay, we have personnel action. We have one for the treasurer's office here. Jillian Allen, clerk 2, motor vehicle department. Anniversary, date, 30-month step increase. Previous rate, $39,945.32. The new rate is $40,781.43.
Motion to approve.
Second. Sarah?
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. And we have 3 of them for the correctional center. These 3. The first one is for Lacey Kelly, correctional officer, new hire, 77.11 hours. The rate at $50,072.77. The second one is for Vincent Robbins, new hire, 77.11 hours. New rate, $50,072.77. And the third one is for Cody Reynolds, which is anniversary, promoted to sergeant. The new rate is $64,361.04.
Motion to approve all three.
Sarah?
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. Then we have one for the sheriff's office. That's for Steve Heelan. Retirement. We're gonna miss Steve down here, tell you.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, we are gonna miss him. Miss him. And effective date is, didn't say on here. Oh,
Last Friday.
8/25/25. Yep, thank you.
Motion to approve. Thank you.
Yep.
Steve spent 22 years in a part-time role as a transport officer and then as the courthouse security for us, and really the ambassador of the courthouse, welcoming committee, and also providing security. So we're gonna miss Steve, and we thank him for those years of service.
Sarah?
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. County attorneys, we have one for them. It's Matthew Erickson. 10-week internship completed. Last day work 7/25/2025.
Motion to approve.
Second. Sarah?
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. And we have one from Public Health. Emily Edie, Public Health Nurse, new hire, salary $58,838.75, effective date 8/25/25.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Tom Broker,
I kept wanting to say Cheryl.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. Started to say Cheryl, I hesitated.
I saw you looking at me.
Okay, we have the City of West Burlington tax abatement request for partial 1035-252-016 and 1035-252-017.
Motion to approve.
Second. Sir?
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. Okay, we have the City of Burlington recycling trailer use. This is for you, Chad.
Morning. Morning. I did bring printed copies in case you didn't have them there, but, so I am here to discuss a request from the city's Renewable Energy Commission, which is charged with energy conservation and sustainability efforts throughout the city. One of the ideas that they've been talking about for quite a while is putting a recycle bin somewhere in the downtown area for the residents that live downtown, either in second story or some of our apartment communities, because they don't really have options for recycling other than to box it all up, put it in the car, and take it out to area recyclers, which can be an impediment. So we're trying to make a smart choice, an easy choice for those that live downtown to recycle. So one of the ideas that the commission has come up with, that I've outlined in the background packet there for you, is to place one of the recycling trailers somewhere in the downtown area. Now, we have a couple of areas identified, but we have not landed on a particular spot yet. Some of our challenge is that it really takes a spot big enough for 2 trailers because they need to drop one while they pick up one. So they're constantly alternating the full one with the empty one. So it takes a larger space than just what might accommodate 1 trailer. The request of the board, and this is just a discussion item today, and if you're considering the request, then I would work with the county auditor to set it up as an action item, but I wanted to just get the information in front of you for discussion today. The request is to use 2 of the county trailers. My understanding is that the county owns the trailers through an arrangement with the Solid Waste Commission and area recyclers.
Good thing you brought Darvin.
Yeah, yes, yeah, so he knows all that detail a lot more. He's advised me and the Renewable Energy Commission on that whole concept. So it really would be using the county's trailers. And right now you have several of those trailers that you use out in the rural areas, same purpose, right? To make it efficient and easy for county residents to recycle their materials. My understanding is, Darvin, again, he's here, he can speak to that there are a couple of trailers currently not being used for whatever reason. So our request is that we would use at least 1 or 2 of those somewhere in the downtown area. Again, open for discussion, we haven't set on a site yet, so. Thoughts, questions, comments?
I didn't realize, and I see Darvin, if he knows, I knew we paid for the recycling out there. I didn't know how many trailers we had, still don't know, but apparently there's 2. My initial concern is that we're gonna get calls from rural areas going, where the hell went our recycling trailer? From unhappy people, but if there's a couple that we aren't using, that would bypass that problem.
There are currently 6 locations outside of Burlington that have those. Flint Hills Golf Course, south of Burlington, south of Spirit Hollow Development. Yarmouth has one, Washington Road has one. I'm missing.
Kingston.
Thank you, yes, Kingston has one. So there's currently 6 of them out there, none of those are going away. And so we have a couple of extras. Pleasant Grove is no more, the county sold that facility, so we were no longer able to put a spot in Pleasant Grove. Minneapolis had a container, it actually was considered a rural container, although it was in city limits for Minneapolis. Various reasons that one is not there either. So bottom line is there's a couple of extras of those out there available if the counties, they do belong to the county pays for the hauling of that material to come to the recycling center. That's the contribution for the 28 for our comprehensive plan would be an arm. So they're there. It wouldn't cause anybody to go without.
So a couple of points in that. So one, I would propose that we pilot this because we still have some issues and concerns downtown as well. Cross-contamination is a big concern with these types of things, especially in a more urban setting. The other thing is, it may be at the end of the pilot, part of the conversation could be if they work well, that the city arranged to buy our own unit to relieve whatever pressures you might have for other county locations. And then I'm gonna guess you're wanting an agreement or something to set this up. But
Well, I'm not so much about the legal, but I just wanted to let you know that like we had one in Danville too, and it was there all the time. And as you're talking about cross-contamination and nervous, it got to where people were use it for just for garbage, and it was a problem. So then we started using it. Essentially, we'd bring it out for like a day or 2, once a week, and you knew that okay, this is the day you bring your stuff, and you could bring it there, and that worked out very well. And then eventually we ended up with some raccoons, eventually a deer carcass, and then we're like just we're out. But I'm not kidding.
I know, I'm leaving.
You should see when we pull out of parking dumpsters.
Yeah. But it worked much better when we went from having it permanent all the time to, hey, and I can't remember what day it was, maybe it was a Saturday, like, whatever day it was, we're gonna have this here on Friday, or we're gonna have this here, so that way it wasn't always there.
Was it staff during that time? Was there a supervisor on site? Because that would be something to consider too.
No.
If that was, okay.
If I may, we still have the Danville manned drop off. We do that on Wednesdays. So on Wednesday, we're in Danville for an hour and a half, 2 hours. And we're also in New London on that day for an hour and a half, 2 hours. And that is a manned trailer, truck and trailer drop off. So it's not.
Again, I'm proposing a pilot, so maybe it's 6 months through the winter or something, so
Yeah, as long as we're not taking it from another computer company or community,
Yes.
I have no problem unless Brian wants one for the ditch in front of his house.
No, I was gonna mention, I started leaving my deer carcasses at Trent's house. I'm gonna be able to need somewhere else for those.
I don't have a problem with it. It's a good thing to have.
Okay, well, with that, I will work with the auditor then to formalize some actionable items to bring to your attention then, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good to me.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Appreciate your time.
They did throw tires in that one too.
Yeah.
Were there tires? I mean,
Yes, there was tires in it, auto parts.
yeah, it just, so yeah, when it went to 1 day a week, it was better.
Okay. Okay, we have, next on the list is transition GMC presentation.
One pager is gonna be short. Okay, transition, our project is a project for a home for homeless unaccompanied minors in Burlington and in Moines County. It's our intention to open this shelter for children between the ages of 12 and 18. Building of interest is the Des Moines County Health Center located at 522 North 3rd Street. This shelter will facilitate the permanent needs of some children and the temporary needs of others. Based upon several walkthroughs and review of the building, blueprints, and may be able to use the house up to 30 children depending upon how the lower level can be modified and Chapter 105 facility requirements are met. The shelter will employ 5 full-time monitoring staff members, 2 fill-in staff members, 1 janitor, and 1 receptionist. Transitions will work in cooperation with the following, but not limited to the organizations: Health and Human Services to review A, Title VII licensing and approval standards, Chapter 105 juvenile shelter care homes, and HHS role and professional support. Schools, Burlington and West Burlington schools, discuss how the high school and middle schools could recruit children and provide support through the McKinney-Vento Act and counseling. Local law enforcement will work with local law enforcement to provide location. Officers may bring minors in an emergency situation until HHS is able to review. And then Gray River Medical provide on-site clinical support and or video support for health reasons. Our action items that we're working on currently: determination of the status of the building that we're looking at and or other locations, meet with city housing inspectors, have a walkthrough to determine the city codes that are met, that need to be met, accordance with also with the 105 standards, meet with financial advisors to develop income stream sources, and complete remodeling blueprints and get quotes from local contractors. Our goal is wherever we're going to be located is to be operational by the 3rd quarter of 2016. Any questions? Yeah, I keep it down to 5 minutes.
Okay, well, no, there's no time limit on that. That's the advantage of having one of these seats. And I'm not familiar with this. I spoke to you once or twice about explaining about the number of homeless and some of that stuff. So I got a flyer to the town hall from the August 19th town hall, and then a PowerPoint presentation from the April 15th town hall, and the statistics are shocking.
They are.
Your April 15th presentation used statistics from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD. there were 771,480 homeless in 2024. About 23 homeless for every 10,000 people in the country. Then it says your presentation says that statistically that means there are fewer than 1,700 people. There are just fewer than 1,700 people who are homeless in Des Moines County. Well, I'm kind of a math guy.
Okay,
Anyway,
so am I.
and if we use the numbers provided by HUD, 23 homeless per 10,000 population, Burlington or Des Moines County's population of well under 40,000 calculates to a homeless population of well under 100. 1,700 would mean we suffer from some of the worst homelessness in the country. But that's a math error.
Well, that's true. We have, based upon the numbers from the Broken Home Shelter and Transitions, we can count 375 homeless people in the Burlington area alone.
Well,
But I'm not worried about the overall homeless.
as I go through here, and everyone makes math errors, hell, even me. Anyway, but I was a little disappointed that when you mentioned that 771,000, that 45% of that number comes from 2 states. And you from California.
On this one, Dale?
Oh, I got it from the same study you quoted, the U.S. Department, or the 2024 Annual Homelessness Assessment Report to Congress. Anyway, so and I was one of the, has some of the lowest statewide numbers for homelessness. Anyway, using national statistics like that to describe Des Moines County seems a little misleading.
Well, I think it was just a composition of statistical analysis, what could be based upon the population and what the averages are across the United States.
Yeah.
But the issue is not.
But if you take the averages from California, they destroy the averages for everybody.
They do, and New York too. So, what those are. What we're looking at now, we're not really looking at overall homeless population. We're looking only at children under the age of 18.
Yeah, agreed. Anyway,
those numbers are based upon conversations with people who work with homeless children, one-on-one in Des Moines County and in 5 different counties in the area, or southeastern Iowa, and specifically Des Moines County, and working with the schools, both from the admin standpoint and the school standpoint and their numbers. So we're averaging we'd be anywhere from 22 or 25 to 105, depending upon what time it is, and it is a very fluid situation at any time of the week.
And that's the other thing on the front of this. It says as many as 100 children younger than 18 in Des Moines County are homeless. As many as is sort of a rhetorical qualifier that permits any sort of claim. It's sort of like saying you can save up to 50% on your utility bill. It doesn't mean anything. And I've got some other numbers here. We'll go through that.
The other reason for that number was to provide interest. When people saw that would be interested in coming to hear what we had to say.
And
but
that's
the
my problem.
The number is a true number.
Well, depends on which statistics you look at. But that's fine. But that's what this is fundraising or getting people to come to the meeting.
No, it had nothing to do with fundraising. I made that clear in the beginning of my conversation with everybody there.
This creates ambiguity.
Fundraising.
And you don't have to make a specific claim. And while you do mention the fact that homelessness isn't the same as unsheltered, the overall presentations don't reinforce that qualification. And I did notice a helpful statistic that might provide a more accurate understanding. And I didn't have all the resources you did, but I depended on the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. And in the HUD 2024 Continuum of Care Homeless Populations and Subpopulations reports, I found some more specific numbers. They provide a report for each state and helpfully list the exact category that we're discussing: unsheltered persons under the age of 18, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development reports that in 2024, the total number of unsheltered persons under the age of 18 and unaccompanied by an adult in the state of Iowa was 5.
You believe that number? Truly, you believe that number? Just
Mark told me you put that number to get people there to a meeting.
I'm aware of that, but are you really believe that number?
All these numbers that they specified, you use their numbers in your advertising. I'm just saying, this is a point in time, and it specifies that. It's a certain date that they pull that. So I have no idea. There are other 18. If you're in a household with at least one adult and one child, there's 41 of those people, and 23 of them are under the age of 18. So that would be a minor in the company of parent, brother, who knows. But that would be a total.
What's your
of
point,
28. My point is I was unhappy last week because I thought the county was being used
as a county. They were not.
Yeah, but I heard you on the radio.
I have a copy of that on my phone.
What you could.
Again, what's your point, Tom?
My point is as I read through this looks like something that's a fundraising piece. It's saying, look at all these big numbers, look at all these big numbers. Most of those big numbers come from different places in the country.
Okay, I'll tell you one thing.
Let me ask you a question. The sheriff might know. Are you familiar with homelessness in Burlington or Des Moines County?
Yes, I am.
What's your thoughts on that?
I honestly, when I see the numbers, they are misleading for our area.
Okay.
And if I may finish, I do want to make some points. When we look at the need for shelter, first I think it's admirable to want to provide a resource that may be needed, but we also have to explore the need for that resource. When we look at the numbers, there's some numbers that have been used that come from the Department of Education they use a different definition of homelessness that maybe co-living with family members, grandparents, those kind of things, and those numbers are misleading.
No, they're not.
When you're talking about the need for a shelter. When we look at the need for a shelter.
We're looking for stable shelter.
When we look at the need for a shelter, we need to look at those unsheltered numbers. And then, like HUD provides available housing on that point in time count. So there is available housing in addition to what the need has fulfilled. There are available shelters out there. And I'll just be honest with you, when I started looking into this, I talked with some of the judicial judges about that need. And what they'll say is, we have shelters out there that we can place in. Having a local shelter may be beneficial. There's some drawbacks to not having a local shelter, but it has to take, what's that?
For instance?
When you place a juvenile in a local shelter, they're more inclined to run away. So you have a positive outcome of they may be closer to family members that can come visit, but they're also closer to the same things that maybe have hurt them along the way. And they tend to run away and disappear. Those same things can happen at a faraway shelter, and there's negative parts of that as well. But as we look at the need for that shelter, for the courts to be able to use it, it's gonna have to be approved by DHHS. So I talked to the director of Young House, to Eric Schilling, because he's been working over the last several years to try to rejuvenate Woodlands. Mm-hmm. And Woodlands and Act A treatment has been a part of Young House, and they've been working to try to get that. And I asked him, where has been the struggle of being able to see this happen? And there's a couple different points. One, getting the building up to building code. So the need for a fire sprinkler system, which the health department doesn't have. That it was cost prohibitive, even for a past juvenile residential facility, to be able to open in that way is what they looked at. Then they looked at the need and reimbursement rates and costs, as you talked about. But when we look at the numbers of actual homeless children, unsheltered homeless children, it's misleading to say, when we talk about homeless, people in the public, they picture people out living underneath a bridge. That's not what's happening. There are 5 in the state of Iowa during that point in time count in the state of Iowa. And Des Moines County represents about 1.1% of the population of Iowa. The state of Iowa actually went down in homelessness from 2023 to 2024.
Okay, so you're just saying we should just give up and?
No, I'm not.
That's exactly what you're saying.
I'm talking about the need in using the resources that we have in the most efficient way. So here's my concern, is if we have that number of unsheltered, which is a very low number in comparison to the numbers that have been presented, it's not a great use of resources to employ 5 to 7 full-time staff members to spend that kind of money on remodel.
We're responsible for those staff members, not the counties.
What my point is that there's going to be investments in costs. And there are ways, like for housing vouchers, to get them out on their feet with their families. There are resources there, and there's a way to use those resources. So I'm not saying give up, because I'll tell you what, if anyone in this room, anyone in my office, anyone in law enforcement runs into a homeless child, they're gonna have a place to stay. They're gonna be taken care of. There are resources there that we're gonna help them. That just doesn't happen. I mean, when we run into that situation, it's a runaway. It's somebody that's ended up here. But there are not homeless children living on the streets in Des Moines County.
That's not what we said. We said there are people who do not have a permanent place to stay. Couch surfing?
But they're not unaccompanied. They're with families.
That's not always true. I can tell you several cases that I personally know about, that I was involved with at the transitions of DMC with homeless minors. But it's not gonna make a point. It's not gonna make a difference. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pull please. I'm gonna pull my request. I will find another location, and transitions will develop a homeless shelter for unaccompanied minors. I appreciate your time.
That's all fine. My concern is the citizens of Des Moines County are being presented something with misleading numbers.
That's an opinion.
Well,
that's an opinion, because I get the numbers specifically and directly from people who are working with these children, who have talked to these children, one-on-one.
That's true, Tom. We've talked with people in the school district. There's a state person responsible for working with homelessness in this part of the state, and those numbers are true. I mean, but if you don't want to work with us, that's fine.
The one thing I want to put in here, I grew up in a small town in an apartment. I had no yard to play in or anything. Why would you even want a building like that where you don't have a place to take them kids out and you can put a fence in and have them in the yard or something?
Basketball court
would be there, a little handball court could be there.
But, if you don't want a gym, that's fine.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Obviously, you guys are not interested in it, so.
This is the first.
I thought we'd been working with you, and I thought we had a good relationship with you guys, and obviously we don't.
But this is the first time I've been approached about this.
No, you haven't. We were here in the spring.
Oh, no, Jim wasn't here.
I was not here.
You came one day, you didn't say anything, you came up to me after the meeting.
No, we asked you about the possibility of the availability of the health department building, and you explained
that we were waiting.
And we've been working with you as you've gone to the city, as you've gone through the county.
I told you I would call you, and I did once I heard that the plat had gone through.
Yeah, but I thought,
engineer.
you know, we did come to the meeting, and we did ask about the availability of that building.
We'd also not just talk with you, but we'd talk to Shane.
No, I'm not aware of that. I have no idea.
It doesn't look like we're gonna go anywhere here.
Nobody's talked to me about it, so.
Well, you weren't here at the time, so.
And then it said you've been talking to the board. Well, I'm part of the board and I've never heard anything.
Well, whose fault is that, Jim? You're the chairman.
We don't talk about what we're doing outside of this room. I don't call and say, Jim, what do you think about the homeless shelter? What do you think about this?
You've got a work session.
It's when somebody comes talks to us. I'm just saying, I was unhappy with what way it was presented on the radio. I'm unhappy as I look through your presentations, and
Hey, look, Tom, we served 3,500 overnight stays last year. 3,500. Are those 5 people that just kind of circulate round and round?
The 5 are unsheltered homeless under the age of 18. That's where that number 5 comes in the state of Iowa, and those are HUD numbers.
Well, those aren't the numbers we're getting directly from the people who work with these children in Des Moines County.
Well,
so that's fine.
The HUD numbers were good enough for you to use on the front page.
Okay, well.
Actually, the numbers that were used on the front page.
The project anyway, so.
The numbers that I used on the front page were the numbers that I was given by an individual who works with these children day in and day out and has been doing it for years.
Well, I was talking about the HUD numbers you put on one of your presentations here.
That was just information. So, again, thank you for your time. I apologize for any misconceptions. I apologize for any misinterpretations of what I said or what was stated. But we'll do something additional to this. All right. Thanks.
Well, I'm fine.
I don't understand where it is in the hierarchy.
Okay, sorry, everybody hadn't listened to that, but, we got minutes for the regular meeting of August the 18th, 2025.
Motion to approve.
Second. Sarah?
Tom Roper,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. Is there any other business?
I have none.
I have none. Future agenda items?
I have none.
We're doing wind ordinance next
Wind
week.
ordinance next week.
Wind ordinance.
Okay.
And we do have to have a work session on what the status is on the old public health building.
Yes.
I don't think that'll take very long, will it?
No.
Okay.
Do you want that next week, or do you want that?
Why not have to have it next week, just get it, if it's,
Yeah. Do we need to have on the agenda the extension? What's that deadline?
extension. Oh, we've got a couple weeks for that, that's not till the middle of September. Worry about that when it comes.
Did you guys set a date for a work session for the public health building?
Next week.
Next week, and I don't, if it no longer than it, but we can do it in a work session, yeah, though.
Champ, you're able to get that picked up from the city, the plat and stuff.
So I have a copy of it. I don't have the physical one. I was going through what we did for, I guess it was 2022 when we sold those buildings.
Well, that one we did an online auction service.
Online, yeah.
I spoke to somebody else and their recommendation for this situation was sealed bids.
So, and we can do that, and we'll talk about this next week, but,
I just wanted to see if you, because I was gone last week and I mentioned to you, I didn't know if I need to help you out and try to get some. Okay.
I can physically stop in there.
That's fine, I just wanted to check.
Well, I was just going through the process to get ready for that.
Okay, move on to public input. Anybody have anything?
You missed committee reports, and I didn't have one.
I went to
I
ISAC.
might as well skip it.
Tom, did you go to ISAC?
I did go to ISAC, no. I went to ISAC, yes, I went to a 3-day public meeting.
Clearly it was memorable.
It was, there was some interesting points, the supervisors, discussed some, interesting items. Interestingly enough, they mentioned one thing on wind turbines. I got to talk to Matt. Apparently, wind turbines, they go in 7 years, a little bit of time until they're taxed at 30% of their value. So the property tax bill that the legislature is looking at eliminates the rollback. So what would happen then is we eliminate the rollback and levies go way down. Maybe they get cut in half or whatever anyway, and the levy goes way down. What happens then to the wind turbine farm that's over here at 30%, when that levy gets cut in half.
So what we did with ours, so they changed the way they were taxed.
Which I just thought it was an interesting idea. This will be a discussion that I don't think will fit in.
Well, yeah.
Or go ahead, go ahead.
This is a little different than the windmill ordinance, but before we did the windmill ordinance the first time, the legislature changed the way they were taxed. So wind turbines are not taxed based on valuation. They're taxed based on one of two options. You could either have the output option like you would for another utility, so how much power is generated, or you could have the option based on the total lifespan cost of putting it up and then tearing it down, and there's this estimate similar to the estimate we're having done at ours. So when we had those two choices, the one that you guys chose was to take that lifetime one, and then it starts at, it's based, then there was, again, I'm trying to remember that formula. That first year's valuation was like 25% of that, and then it goes down to 20%, all the way down to 5% every year thereafter. It's like 5% of that valuation.
This is something we're gonna need a work session on, the valuations to put in that ordinance, if we're changing the ordinance till we have a clearer idea. I remember talking about it, but that's been 2 years ago.
Well, right, but there was two formulas.
I'm not gonna get my head
One
around
based
it
on
here in the next
production,
few minutes.
so we just chose that.
We'll add that to one of the ordinance work sessions, but I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Anyway, there were some parts of it were interesting, parts of it were not quite as interesting, but it was there.
See, even on vacation, I still kept track of you.
That's good. You didn't find a chip in me or anything, did you?
Nope.
Okay.
Okay, now we'll move on to public input. Anybody online or anything? I don't see anybody online, but they can call in at 319-753-8203 extension 4, or email board@dmcounty.com. We'll give you 2 minutes to do that. And meanwhile, anybody in the audience have anything to say? Pretty quiet over there. You got anything to say?
I got nothing. Sorry.
You filled an article.
At least it's not gonna be
really
one of
long
those,
time.
what am I gonna write about?
Right. I am gonna jump in on that then. I think it's important to note that if there was this level of unsheltered juveniles, as said before, we would absolutely, I mean, there is, if there was that level of need, I think there's not anybody in here that wouldn't be addressing that. There's different numbers that are used for when you count homelessness, and the education uses different numbers, HUD uses different numbers, and when HUD does their counts, they look at sheltered and unsheltered, and they look at children with families and children without families. So children on their own, those numbers in Iowa, the total number in Iowa was 8. The total number of unsheltered was 5 at the point in time contact in 2024. Unsheltered in Iowa, 5. There are others that are co-living with grandparents and families. And truthfully, and you talk with DHS, you talk with anybody, the best place for them is to be with a family member where they can be taken care of by somebody that cares.
I'll piggyback on that.
Right.
Actually, that is the first option. When a parent can't have a child, that is the first option, is that they go stay with family, even friends of family, people they know. I don't know if it was a misunderstanding by transitions of what shelter care would be. For DHS in those situations, shelter care is like the last conceivable option. There's nothing else there. And so I also had some concerns about the use of permanent placement.
But it said long-term in one of those
Well, he
presentations.
said long-term, temporary, long-term, and permanent.
There's pages of Iowa code, administrative code dealing with, you have to have 75 square feet for each child outdoor recreational area. You have to have, there's all sorts of lists of
Iowa
stuff.
does not have orphanages. And so I don't know how any of that would have worked.
Yeah.
I guess I was really confused by what their ultimate goal was. Was it shelter care services? That's a last option for the Department of Health and Human Services. I mean, it truly is, that's if we have no other option. Or is it long-term placement in lieu of foster care? I was very confused by what
Thank
they
God,
were
I think
seeking.
they said short-term and long-term in their,
Long-term, there are a lot of hurdles, and I don't
Oh.
even know that this facility would pass those. Because they're limited on how many kids they can put in a room, they're limited on dividing them up age-wise, providing, is there space for a full kitchen? Is there space for leisure activities? Is there space for
the shelter
physical-
will be both a long-term and a short-term facility.
Yeah, I don't know that truly, I don't know that that facility would even meet the requirements.
I would think it would be hard.
It would be difficult, I just don't know that there's.
There would be major struggles with meeting the building code and fire code.
I was gonna say
But
fire code's huge for that building.
regardless,
Half of them
if there was that level of need, there are resources, and that would be a priority. But that's just, my concern is just that the numbers that are there are just not at all what we experience with actual homelessness. The definitions that you can look at are different about co-living with family members, and I think there's a lot of those kind of numbers that are in there. But the actual unsheltered homeless children in the state of Iowa, unsheltered was 5.
The only thing I can say, this is the first I knew about this one building, because like they talked to Tom, we don't call, the only time we do is here. He talked to Shane.
We're checking on
said
Shane.
anything to me. So, I was adamant what I said, I didn't know anything about it, so. And I've been attacked by one of them gentlemen twice. So, anyway, that's all I'm gonna say. With an aye, we're out of here.
Aye.
Aye.
Y'all have a good rest of the day.
All right, thank you, everybody. Yeah, I mean,